Hi everybody, welcome to the Johnson City Library Story Time. Remember last week we talked about it being Hispanic Heritage Month, so I have a couple of women Latina heroes that I'd like to tell you about. The first one is Sonia Sotomayor. Have you ever heard of that name? Let's find out some more about her. Her mother and father called her Little Sonia a hot chili pepper, because she was always jumping around, tumbling through her family's tiny apartment in the South Bronx section of New York City. Sonia couldn't sit still, jousting as a knight with her younger brother, Uli, and even acting out spooky voices at her grandmother Mercedes' Espirita seances. Sonia has blistering energy. At Blessed Sacred Sacrament School, she would protect her brother, and any bully thinking of messing with him would have to mix it up with me first, she said. When her father nervously attempted to give her the first insulin injection for her diabetes, he squirted the needle over her shoulder by accident, and the 7-year-old Sonia grabbed the needle and popped it into her arm. Later, she recalled, "The only way I'd survive was to do it by myself. Do it by myself." That was the spirit and determination that marked the child Sonia from the start, and carried her through debate competitions at school, exacting tests at Princeton and Yale Law School, and combative trials in the courtroom as assistant district attorney, then judge, and finally Supreme Court justice. From an early age, Sonia Sotomayor embraced life with all its pains, challenges, and spice. Sonia decided to shield herself from all this with books. She read every Nancy Drew novel she could get her hands on and decided that she wanted to be like Nancy Drew, or even better, to be like Nancy's father, the judge, because the judge called the shots. Maybe words and how you offer them can make a difference, she thought. So, Sonia applied to Princeton University, and even though she had graduated in the top of her class, she quickly realized she had a little work to do in that new academic culture. She headed to the library. An active member of Acción Puertorriqueña, Sonia organized bilingual volunteer teams of students to help at the Trenton Hospital by translating for Spanish speakers. They took turns at the hospital assisting patients and staff and making sure everyone understood what was taking place. The world of public service electrified her. It became Sonia's new purposeful world. Sonia had already decided to be a lawyer in service of the people. But a lawyer must be brave and must know how to move inside the jaws of huge, complex, and a fast-moving machine. 3 years later, Sonia became the first Latina assistant district attorney for New York County. The word purpose still guided her. And in 1992, Sonia was elected a judge of the U.S. District Court. And then, in 2009, Sonia was nominated by President Obama as the first Latina Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Isn't that a good story? How about another one about Elaine Ochoa? When she was in the 5th grade, Ellen was already setting goals. I want to be the class president. And she was enrolled in college later on and took one class. Even her mother, showed her how to always be determined. And her mother was enrolled in college and took one class every semester while taking care of her 5 children. Mom didn't graduate until 22 years later, but she finished. That's what I got from her, the example. I've always liked school. When Ellen, let's turn the page here. Ellen's next goal was to perform scientific experiments in space using some of the things she had invented. But to go on a space mission, she needed to become an astronaut first. Growing up, it had never occurred to her. When I was a girl, I never imagined being an astronaut, she said. It wasn't until the first 6 female astronauts were selected in 1978 that women could even think of it as a possible career path. In 1983, Sally Ride became the first woman to travel into space. Ellen was selected as an astronaut in January 1990. Training to be an astronaut is very rigorous. I was in training for 3 years before my first mission. Some astronauts have waited 10 years, some even 16. Arriba! Up, 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 up. In 1993, Ellen flew into space as a mission specialist aboard the Space Shuttle Discovery. On the 9-day mission, 200 miles above Earth, going 5 miles per second, she controlled the robotic arm, captured a satellite used for study on the sun. Being an astronaut excited Elaine because it allows you to learn continuously, just like you do in school. Out in space, Ellen marveled at Earth, how beautiful and fragile it is. Dr. Elaine Ochoa, the first Latina astronaut, became the first Latina director of the Lyndon B. Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. She has worked toward human habitats on the moon and eventually Mars. And she has a new goal: to establish summer camps for children like her who have never dreamed of riding the stars many moons ago. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Bye-bye.